This portion of the video provides instruction on basic firing party manuals and procedures. The firing party sequence is intended to provide a cadence so that all members of the firing party perform as a single unit. The position of attention is achieved by standing upright. Your left hand will be at a fist and thumb along the seam of your pants. Your right hand is flared while gripping your weapon on the upper handguard. The butt of the weapon will rest against the right foot. The toe of the weapon will be even with the front of the right foot. Your head and eyes will be straight forward. The position of dress right dress begins the same as the position of attention. Upon the command of dress right dress, the left arm is extended at a 90-degree angle from the body. The head is turned at a 45-degree angle to the right. Upon the command of ready front, return to the position of attention. The position of ceremonial at ease. Upon the command of ceremonial at ease, position your feet 6 to 8 inches apart. The toe of the weapon rests against and is even to the front of your right foot. The weapon is turned sideways with the trigger housing facing inward. The right hand will be bent at the wrist and flared, gripping the upper handguard. The fingers of the left hand are joined and positioned down along the front of the barrel of the weapon. The wrist will be bent with the thumb along the back of the hand. Both hands form a T at the top of the weapon. Your head and eyes will remain forward. The position of parade rest. Upon the command of parade rest, stand straight with your feet 6 to 8 inches apart. The weapon is flared with the right hand at a fist and the left hand in the small of the back. The left hand will be open with the thumb along the forefinger. The position of port arms. Upon the command of port arms, stand straight with your heels together. The left hand supports the weapon with the thumb and middle finger on the ring. The right hand is positioned around the pistol grip. The upper sling swivel will be level with your chin. The weapon is now in front of and a fist distance away from your body. The upper handguard will be in front of your left eye. To achieve the ready position, stand with your feet 6 to 8 inches apart. The weapon is at the port position with the right hand holding the pistol grip and the left hand at a fist on the charging handle. Your head and eyes are straight forward. The position of aim. To achieve the position of aim, stand with your feet 6 to 8 inches apart. The butt of the weapon will be resting under the right armpit with the right arm pressed firmly against it. The left hand will support the weapon below the upper handguard. The right hand is at a fist with the index finger in the trigger housing. Your shoulders will be slightly turned to the left, with your head facing to your left. The front sight of the weapon will be pointing downrange at eye level. The position of present arms. To achieve the position of present arms, stand at attention. The weapon is parallel to your body with the sling facing out. The left hand is at a fist around the stock on the ring above the charging handle. Your right hand is flared along the stock at the bottom of the weapon. The front sight will be at eye level. The weapon will be a fist distance away from the body. Firing sequence. Begin at the position of firing party ceremonial at ease. Your feet should be spread shoulders width apart. The left hand will run down the barrel of the weapon with the right hand running perpendicular and flush with the left hand on the upper handguard. At the command of firing party, the individual will go to the position of parade rest. When the command of attention is given, the individual goes to the position of attention. Upon the command of ready face, the individual will execute a right face, execute a butt slam, then bring the weapon up to port, with the upper handguard in front of the left eye and the upper sling swivel at chin level. The individual will have his or her left hand on the charging handle at a fist. Upon the command of ready, the firing party begins a 7-count sequence to fire. On the first count, with the left hand, push the charging handle all the way back to chamber around. Count 2 is to release the charging handle, following with the left hand out alongside the weapon about 6 to 8 inches away. Count 3 is to place the left hand back onto the weapon at the port position. Count 4 is to bring the weapon down to the position of aim. The top sight should be eye level and the butt of the weapon should be under the right armpit. While bringing the weapon down to aim, the individual should make a fist with their right hand and place their index finger inside the trigger housing. Count 5 is to pull the trigger by ripping, not squeezing the trigger. The individual should pull the trigger by ripping their hand straight back towards their right shoulder. On count 6, the individual will go to the position of first ready, with the weapon at a proper port. On count 7, the left hand will be placed back on the charging handle at a fist. The command of ready will be given twice more. After the third ready, the individual completes the sequence and returns to the proper port position. Present arms. After the third volley, the command of present arms is given. The individual will close his or her feet, bringing the left foot to the right, execute a left face, then slap the weapon with the left hand and bring the weapon to present arms with front sights at eye level. Order arms. Upon the command of order arms, the individual simultaneously brings the weapon to port with the right hand and pins the left hand to the side of his or her body. Next, the individual will bring the left hand to the stock of the weapon to complete the port. Then with the right hand, grab the upper hand guard at a fist and bring the weapon to a 45-degree angle. The trigger housing will be at the knee. The left hand should be flared at the upper hand guard above the right hand. Then the individual will cut away with the left hand and bring the weapon to attention without executing a butt slam. This portion of the video will cover the disassembly, cleaning, and assembly of the M1 rifle. When disassembling the M1 Garand rifle, the following steps are to be taken. First, remove the trigger housing from the rifle. Next, remove the gas port cylinder assembly. To do this, you must first remove the screw assembly, thus allowing you to unscrew the gas chamber lock. After you have removed the gas port assembly, you will be able to pull off both the gas cylinder and the upper handguard. Next, remove the rod follower assembly. When removed, the helical compression spring will come out, along with the rod follower assembly. Once the spring is removed, you will be able to remove the shoulder-headed pin by using a small screwdriver to push it out. After the pin is removed, the bullet guide, catch assembly, and follower slide may be removed. Next, remove the rod operating assembly from the bolt assembly. You will accomplish this by sliding the rod operating assembly back and forth, allowing the bolt to separate. Once the rod operating assembly is separated from the bolt, you will be able to slide the bolt from its position. After following these steps, you will have a disassembled M1 Garand 30 caliber rifle. After disassembling the weapon, you can then begin cleaning and lubricating the metal pieces associated with the weapon. First, use a cleaning brush to loosen the excess burned gunpowder from all weapons parts. When cleaning the barrel, it is necessary to use bore cleaner and cleaning patches. Run the cleaning patches with bore cleaner through the barrel until the patches appear clean after its use. This process may take several minutes and you may use several patches. Once the barrel is clean, apply a small coat of lubricating oil to the metal surface of the barrel and all other metal pieces of the weapon to reduce the chances of rust and corrosion. You must ensure each piece of the weapon is clean and free of dirt and oil. Section 2. Reassembling the M1. Once the M1 is clean, you may reassemble the weapon. First, place the bolt in its slide position with the firing pin pointing towards the barrel. After the bolt is in place the rod operating assembly into position by attaching it to the bolt. Once you have it attached, slide the rod operating assembly into position, making sure to leave it in the forward position. Next, take the follower slide and place it in the magazine well. The follower slide should face down towards the bolt. The next objective is to place the guide into its proper position. Put the catch assembly in place by hooking the arm end of the catch assembly under the clip latch. The clip latch is located inside the magazine well. Next, place the follower arm through the chair so the end that resembles a small rod catches the follower slide and drop it straight down into position. The final step is to place the shoulder-headed pin into position. When all the pieces are in place, you can check your work by pushing on the tip of your catch assembly. After the interior of the weapon is assembled back inside, then place the helical compression spring onto the tip of the follower rod assembly. The next step in this procedure will be to place the helical compression spring into the operating assembly rod and place the other end of the follower assembly rod onto the end of the follower arm. Next, place the upper handguard onto the weapon. After the handguard is in place, slide the gas cylinder over the barrel and the operating rod assembly with a swivel facing down. Next, screw the gas cylinder lock into place. Once that is done, screw the screw assembly into the gas cylinder. Once everything is in position, place the stock onto the weapon and then put the trigger assembly back in the appropriate place. After assembling the weapon, perform a 9-step function check. First, charge the weapon, then ride the bolt forward. Engage the safety. Next, squeeze the trigger to ensure the safety is operating properly. Then disengage the safety. Squeeze the trigger. At this time, the hammer should strike the firing pin. Next, charge the weapon. Ride the bolt forward and squeeze the trigger again. The hammer should once again strike the firing pin. If the weapon malfunctions during any of these 9 steps, disassemble the weapon and go through the assembly steps once again.